Yes, mates, how's it going? My name's Lee. Welcome back to the channel. Are you looking to play your free hit this week? If so, stick around to hear my thoughts on who I think is essential. And if you're not on free hit, maybe stick around anyway and see what players you need to be wary of or which players might hurt your rank. So if you like Fantasy Premier League, please subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Anyway, let's rock and roll. Right, mates, the first question you need to ask yourself is, are you going to free hit? And is it worth free hitting for your team? If you've got less than about 7 players, I'd probably say yeah. You probably do need to free hit. I've got about 4 or 5, so I definitely need to free hit. And below there, as long as you're covering the main threats, so I think majority of free hit teams are going to have 3 Liverpool, 3 Arsenal, 1 Spurs and 1 Newcastle. If you can block off those main ones, you don't need to free hit. If you've got Salah, if you've got Saka, if you've got a decent captaincy, I don't think you need to free hit. Like I said, I've only got maybe 5 players. I think it's essential that I free hit. If you do free hit, I think the best formations are a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. Attackers are just a bit more exciting. Like defenders can be a bit boring sometimes. You can take a bit more of a punt on an attacking player. So why not go for the more attacking formation? So what I'm going to do throughout this video, I'm going to break it down per position and kind of look. Tell you the players I'm looking at, and then maybe go for a couple of punty options, and just to kind of see who we can look at and try and make some gains, shall we? So let's get the boring position out the way. You notice that I don't have Ramsdale in there. I just don't see Ramsdale as an option. If you are on free hit, there's so many attacking Arsenal options, or like even solid defensive options, that I just don't see Ramsdale as an option at all. Alisson is probably my standout pick, only because I don't like a lot of outfield Liverpool players, bar the odd couple really. And then the last 2 are just a bit punter. I burnt Leno, I don't mind that, at home to Leeds. Villa are on a good run. Emi Martinez seems to have a bit of his mojo back. I don't mind Emi Martinez as a bit of a punt. Maybe like a Sam Johnston as an outside bet. Palace against Everton, I don't mind that at all. They're all decently owned in terms of percentages, so I think you'll get decent returns that way. This is probably the one position that doesn't really matter, and it's the one that won't be heavily skewed towards one player. But if there was anyone, I do expect it to be Alisson. I did see that he has got a yellow flag on FPL. I don't know the reason behind that, so maybe see how he plays this week. And if he does play, then boom, buzz in, let's get him straight in free hit. Onto the defenders, and I think there's only one essential defender, and that's Trent. Ben White in the middle. He could be any Arsenal defender. He could be Gabriel, he could be Zinchenko. I think there'll be a nice spread between them. I'd probably say Gabriel will be the highest owned. I prefer Ben White if I'm going to pick any, just because he plays fullback. There's more chance of him getting an attacking return, and he has got a couple of attacking returns recently. Good game up against Southampton. Really good option. And then the last one on the right hand side is Trips. I just think he's going to be heavily owned still. I don't really like him as an option. Newcastle this week got beat by Villa 3-0. They don't look as solid as they used to. And I think if there's one week that you don't need Trips, it's probably this week. I'm 50-50 on whether I'm going to have him at the minute. And yeah, right now I'm not sure if it's worth it. And if that was the case, I would rather go for a second Liverpool defender like a Robertson or even a Canate or Van Dijk, whoever. Because I think budget's not going to be an issue this week at all. And then take a bit more of a punt in goal and go for like a burnt Leno, where it doesn't really matter. I think it's either going to be a 2 or 6 point. I don't see, like, there aren't many teams this year or goalkeepers this year that tend to get high bonus. So I'm not that bothered about it. And then the bottom 3 there are just more of punts. Villa, same again, in good form. Tyrone Mings in great form. Really cheap, decent ownership. Away to Brentford. I know it doesn't sound great, but Brentford lost again today. I just think he's a solid option, mate. I really think he's a solid option, and I think you should consider him. Kurt Zuma, I don't like him as much of an option, but I know people are going to look at him because it's Bournemouth away. Bournemouth aren't a bad team anymore, mate. Like, Bournemouth at home are a solid side, so do beware of it. Like, if you are going to go for it, For that price, I would rather go for Mark Guehi. I think he's a great option at home to Everton. I don't see there being a lot of goals in that for Everton, and I'd be relatively optimistic of Palace keeping a clean sheet. They're attacking well, which is always pushes the team further, the defending team further back. Solid option, mate. Really solid option, and I think it's going to be that differential one. And that's like what we're saying at the beginning. Like, as long as you've covered off those main areas of 3 Liverpool, 3 Arsenal, probably Trippier and Kane are probably going to be the other ones. You can take a bit of a punt on the other 3 or 4 players there of which ones you want to move around. Someone like a Mings or a Mark Guehi or Zuma could even pop up with a goal. You don't know, so that's one option that you need to think about. Am I missing anyone? Do you think anyone else is worth considering for free hit defenders? Let me know down below. Let's have a little chat. So the midfielders is where it tends to get a bit more kind of template, I suppose. I expect 99% of free hit teams to have Salah, Saka, and Martinelli. And then it depends if you want to play 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. I'm probably going to go Eze. He scored twice again this weekend and one before that, so he's got 3 and 2. Really good option, mate. Like he seems to have found it again. I don't mind if you go for an Elise instead of an Eze. Really great option. Maddison, I see people doing this. I'm kind of done with Maddison. It's not someone I'm going to consider, but I can see why people might want to do that. He is quite talismanic towards their team, but he's not on penalties, and I just don't see it right now. I could watch him against City this weekend, and they had the odd couple of things, and they were pretty lucky to get the goal, to be honest. Tapping free in Nacho. I just don't see it, mate. I just really don't see it. But if you want to take a punt, I don't hate it. But if I'm going to take a punt, I'd rather go for like someone like a Willian. With Mitrovic being out, there's more of an onus on Pereira or Willian. See, like, I don't even mind Pereira as well, so if I want to take a punt on Pereira, do it. If I played a 3-4-3, Pereira would be my 5th midfielder, probably. That's probably 100%. If I play a 3-5-2, I would probably go. I don't think I'd pick either Maddison or Willian. I'd probably go someone a bit mad like Heung-min Son or something, because I'd have the budget to get that. I'd just go really kind of left field and really punter. But my midfield would probably be Salah, Saka, Martinelli, Eze, maybe a Son if I'm going to play 5 in midfield. I just can't see past Salah, Saka, and Martinelli, like, unless anything comes out where they're injured or whatever. But like Salah's just so dominant up against Leeds. I think he's going to rip them apart. Saka and Martinelli against Southampton, same again. I think they're going to destroy them. It's probably the last time for the next few game weeks that I'm going to own Arsenal players, so I'm trying to go all in on them, trying to go heavy on them, and I just don't see why I wouldn't do that. Like, it's just so obvious to me why you wouldn't have those 3. They're probably the 3 most essential players. And then last up, we've got the forwards. I've put Ollie Watkins as my first choice. I just think he's in great form. I don't think you can walk past him. He's on fire. Scores. He's on penalties. He's scoring all types of goals at the minute. He scored 2 against a really good Newcastle defense, and I just don't see how you can't have Ollie Watkins if you're not on free hit. Just on fire. This is another week similar to Trippier where I just don't see Kane as a great option. I just don't see it, mate. Like, this might be a week where you can take a mad punt on like a Darwin or a Jesus. I mean, like, I think Jesus is going to be pretty well owned, to be fair to you. And then you can see there on the right, I've got Solanke. I think he scored twice again today as well and got an assist. I just like him, mate. I don't know what it is. I just really like him. I think he's a good option. Is he on penalties? Let me know down below if he's on penalties. I can't quite remember. But whenever he's played, whenever I've watched him, they're a good side. Like, West Ham are just poor at the minute. Bournemouth at home, like I said, are a good side. I'd be wary of going for West Ham players. I've seen people mention Jared Bowen. I just don't see it. If I'm going to go anyone, it'd be like Solanke or Billing or even Tavernier or something like that. I don't mind Jesus, like I said. I've already spoke about Arsenal up against Southampton. I think they're going to dominate the game. and it might be a chance for you to go for someone like a Jesus. Like I said, like I don't hate it at all, mate. Like I really, really don't. Ivan Toney. Brentford just haven't looked right for the past couple of games, and they're up against a Villa side that have won 4 in a row. Villa haven't won 5 in a row since 1998. I think they'll really want to go 5 in a row, and I think they'll beat Brentford, and I just don't see Brentford scoring. But if you are going to go for anyone, it would be Toney because he's on pens, and that's the only reason why I'd consider it. Darwin, I always expect him to explode out. Like I always expect these huge returns, and he just never seems to come. Will that arrive against Leeds? I'm not convinced he even starts. He is a rotation risk. Hackpo, however you want to say his name, is still getting minutes. Players are coming back from injury. Diogo Jota's playing a bit. Diogo Jota might be a punt for you, like who knows? This is probably the toughest area of the pitch, and I think if you get this one wrong, it could really hurt. As much as I don't want to consider Kane, I think he'll be that heavily owned that I'm almost forced to kind of go for him, if that makes sense. So I'll probably end up picking him because I'm a bit safe with that kind of sometimes, and there's other areas of the pitch where I can take these crazy punts. The top 3 are probably going to be my starting 3. Watkins, Kane and Solanke, but I am heavily considering, seriously considering Jesus, so we'll see how that one goes. Same as defenders, am I missing anyone? Are you considering anyone that I haven't thought about? I'm trying to think of anyone on top of my head. Iheanacho, because he scored this weekend. He might be a consideration up against Wolves. I just don't see it. Like, it's too much of a minutes risk. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Let me know down below. Let's have a little chat. So, whenever I make a free hit, I always think to myself, who are the best captains? And I basically revolve my team around those. I see Salah and Saka being the far and away first and second choice. I've put Ollie Watkins third there, but he's kind of like my outside bet. I expect someone like Martinelli to be decently captained. Kane will still be captained. So I think it's going to be quite spread, but I think Salah and Saka will take the bulk of it. And this is one of those where if you get the 50-50 decision wrong, it could really hurt. I'm going to go Salah, and I'm pretty kind of set on that already. Unless anything comes out that he's injured or anything like that. But I just don't see why I wouldn't captain Salah against a really poor Leeds side that conceded 5 against Palace. Like, it just makes no sense. I mean, Elise absolutely ripped him apart. Can Salah do the exact same thing from the same position? 100%, mate, 100%. So why would you not captain that? On pens, I mean, I think he's on penalties. I've not heard anything or seen anything that would make me think otherwise. I know he missed the one against Arsenal, but I don't see that changing. Like, unless Milner's on the pitch, where he might take it, I think Salah's on pens, mate. Really do. Alright, mates, that's been it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. So today we went through some players that you should consider on free hit. And if you're not on free hit, maybe think about the players that a lot of people are going to be targeting to try and block off those avenues of points and try and avoid the red arrow as much as possible. If today's video helps, or if you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe to the channel. It helps a ton. Leave a like and leave a comment down below. Let's have a little chat. Anyway, peace and love.